before I get started, I want to ask you about your name. So when the email came through, I spotted your name, but I noticed there was a typo. And then I looked it up, and it was the same Ameriie. There's no typo, but there's an extra I in there. So where did that come from?
I'm on the run.
You're on the run?
I'm on the run. No.
So you disguised it like that?
No, actually, it was just something personal that I just wanted to do. For me, it was just like, it had nothing to do with music or anything like that. And some people were like, oh, were you like on the run or something? I'm like, no, it's just something that I wanted to do. I'm actually used to it now, actually, because it's been this way for about 5 or 6 years. But a lot of people are just like, some people knew about it at the time, but a lot of people are just
Does it
now.
bug you if people spell it wrong now?
Oh yeah, it does.
It does.
But you know what? That's because that's my personality.
Yeah.
Is that I like things to be right. So if I'm like, it's not spelled that way
A
anymore.
little bit
Like,
OCD
parents,
maybe.
Yeah, my parents spell it the right way now, the new way, I should say.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say right way when it comes to my parents, because they're like, oh, well, we didn't name you like that. But they spell it with the 2 I's. And it's, for me, it's like when anyone ever tells me that their name is whatever their name is, and then they shorten it because they're like, oh, it's hard for people to say, so I just say, call me this. I'm like, no, I want to call you the name that you said, that's your name.
Yeah.
And it's my responsibility to learn how to pronounce your name correctly. So
I get that,
I'm just
man.
like that.
So this is like, what is this, your 3rd or 4th time back in the country this year?
This year, maybe, yeah. I've been here quite a few times.
A lot. You like it here, right?
I love it here. I love it in the UK. I love it in London. It's like one of my favorite cities.
And they love you here as well, man. When it comes to, obviously you're doing a lot of live performances, not just here, you're traveling all over the world. Do you prefer doing the live performances or getting into the studio and doing the work there?
I love the performances, I have to say. But I think my love is creating the music first. For me, it's just about the creative, it's the process itself. It's not so much like, well, sometimes it can be very like annoying just being me, because I'm like, it's hard to be me. I mean, I'm joking when I say that to my husband sometimes, but sometimes I'm for real, and he's like, yes, I know, you're crazy, so it's hard to be around you. But I'm like, imagine how it's with me. I have to be with me all the time, because I'm so particular and I'm so like neurotic about everything.
Yeah.
So the studio can be such a great place to be, because I do this because I love creating. But then I'm like, oh, sometimes it's just, if this is not right, if that's not right, if this is not right, it makes me crazy. So then to be able to get on stage and have everything the way that I want it to be, it's kind of like there's a freedom there. But then I'm like neurotic about stuff on stage.
Yeah.
Lighting is there. This is not right. My foot should have been there. You know, so all these things.
It's not too bad to be self-critical, though. So, I mean, it really seems like you still enjoy it.
I do.
And you love it.
I do.
Obviously, that's the title of the album, right?
Because I love it. Yeah, so
of course.
But Billy, yeah. And yeah, I do love it. I don't, if I wasn't loving it anymore, I wouldn't do it. You know, I think that just goes across the board in general. I think everyone should find their passion, what they're passionate about. And then they always say that if you figure out what you're passionate about, you can figure out how to make a living out of it.
Exactly.
Eventually.
If you can do that, you don't have to work a single
you
day,
won't
right?
work a single day in your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel the same. Do you feel underrated? Because I feel that you are very underrated.
Well, thanks. I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, but I also feel like I just graze the surface of the things that I want to do and the things that I can do. So I feel like I'm still growing. So I don't mind that so much, because I feel like I'm always looking ahead. Like I don't feel like, oh, I was like, did all this stuff and I kind of like did everything that I was going to do and became everything that I loved to become back in the day. I actually feel like I just got started.
Yeah.
Creatively. And as for being underrated, I think it's preferable to be hearing all the time that you're overrated. I guess.
I guess
you have to choose one.
Yeah. Do you ever get frustrated with the industry? Because of course, I mean, you write your own songs, you do a lot of production, you're in control of your videos as well, and talking about your vocal range as well, you've got one of the best vocal ranges in R&B, in my opinion.
Thank you.
But then there's other female artists, or not just females, but other artists out there that are always in the limelight, limited vocal range, don't write their own stuff. Does that side of the industry frustrate you?
It's not frustrating, because it depends on what you want to do.
Right.
If your whole thing is just like, well, I just want to be famous, then I guess you'd go the route whatever would take you there. For me, it's is really about creating. You know what I mean? It's like an expression. It's like self-expression. So I can't really imagine doing things any other kind of way. But I also know too, it's also like a lot of this stuff is timing. So you might have this artist here, and it depends on just what people are feeling in general. Because you're mixing, creating something, you're mixing art and commerce. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, in that sense, it's whatever people feel like buying at the moment, or whatever companies feel like pushing at the moment. And then also what they say is like luck, it's just timing. So I can only stay focused on what I'm doing. You know, I think that's just goes for anyone who's in any artistic endeavor. You have to kind of just be really focused on you, because the minute you start looking to see what everyone else is doing, it's kind of like you're taking away the energy that can be put into your own
and focusing too much on
creation,
there. I have exactly the same mindset with it. Yeah. So you mentioned about companies not wanting to push certain things. I heard a rumor a while ago that the label at the time didn't want to put one thing out as the single. Is that correct? That they weren't supportive of the record?
No, they weren't supportive of the record because they didn't get it. And that's okay. I totally understand that, because everyone's not going to get everything. I mean, sometimes I hear songs and I'm like, oh, I don't really get it. And then later I'm like, oh, I really like it.
Yeah.
So I understand that, but I just had to like believe in it myself.
So you're really fighting against the tide to push that track through.
We put the song out ourselves.
Independently, right?
Well, no, independently as far as like how we made the move, but we were still signed. I was still signed to the company, but we just kind of just got the DJ list together and put it out.
Worked your own record.
And then once the label saw it was like picking up, and actually it picked up in the UK really, really fast.
Massively,
very quickly. Like it was like, one of the first territories to really jump on it. So then they were like, oh, okay. But then it was like playing catch up, because they're like, oh, and it's already working. So now we need to get the video and ABCD kind of rushed. So it ended up being really rushed, but yeah.
And then they woke up.
Yeah, after,
Do you think, do you feel like you're more popular outside of North America? Because, I mean, you've got a massive fan base across Asia.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the South Korean music scene, but I've heard you're very popular there as well, especially in Australia and across Europe. And you had an album release in the UK that wasn't released in America, right?
Because I Love It.
Right.
And that album was supposed to be released, Because I Love It was supposed to be released in the States, but they were going to stagger it. So they were going to release it in the UK first, and then release it in the States. I tend to like global releases better. That's whether it's singles, whether it's anything, but I can't remember the reasoning at the time and why they wanted to do it that way. But they were going to release it then, and then they were going to release it later. And I just didn't feel like that was a really good idea to begin with. But it was like, okay, some of the track listing will be different. Okay. And then I ended up leaving the label.
Right, yeah.
Before the album came out. And I guess I could have waited, but I didn't really see a sense in that. I was just like, it doesn't really make sense to do that. So,
It's just how it goes.
Yeah.
And you're working on 2 albums now at the same time. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Billy, which is like, I guess an extension of, you could say that it's an extension of Because I Love It.
Yeah.
But it's not like a part 2 or anything. But
right.
There are certain like sonically they're kind of tied, but it knocks a little differently than Because I Love It. And then Cymatica, which is a very I would say it's like very cinematic.
Right.
The whole thinking with the instrumentation, I want it to be very big and heavy and dark, and I was like, I want to approach this like a film score. So
that's how you're able to separate the tracks that you're choosing for Billy.
Yeah,
and then
it's just such a different
Cymatic, did you say?
Cymatic,
right? Yeah. So that's how you're able to separate the 2 tracks, because the 2 different feels to the album. Are they going to have close release dates, or are you just
ideally, yes. Like, so for Billy, we're looking at spring of 2015.
Right, okay.
It's almost, oh my goodness, it's like this year. It's like, where did this year go? And then Cymatica probably shortly after that. I don't know if
same
it's a
year?
Few months. Yeah,
right.
same year. That's the goal. Because they'll both be done about the same time.
Keep the fans fed.
I know. That's the goal. That's the goal, guys. I know it's like, they're like, what happened to this album? Is it coming?
Yeah, so your new single, What I Want, is obviously a sample of Apache.
Yes.
What happened with the song, with the process of making it? Did you hear the beat and then write to it, or did you have the lyrics written and then you just engineered the beat? Because your husband produced it as well,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that in a moment.
He with most of what was going on with Billy and Cymatica, I was like creating the song first and then creating the music around it. So then, you know, this way, you know, he told me about the idea and I wanted to see if I was into it, and I was like, definitely. Then he came with the track, and then it was like, okay, well, now I have to write to that, which is a different way that I've been working, you know, for however long, you know, for Billy and Cymatica. So it was really different, but and it took a while too. Also because the track is really exciting and there's a lot going on with it. It's really great. So then it's kind of like more pressure, because you know, if the song goes down even a little bit, you know, it's your fault, because actually it was fine before you mess with anything. So I was like, oh, okay. But
difficult taking such a classic record as well.
Yeah. And it's been redone so many times, like in different variations. But you're right. I mean, it's just...
Is yours the best? You don't have to be modest. Be honest.
I love what I honestly... No, sometimes if I go in and I'm like, oh, I killed that. In this instance, I can say it's just different. It's different because some of those songs are like classics. It's just different. But I think I feel like I did it justice. But of course I would. If I didn't, I wouldn't let anyone hear it.
Yeah. No, of course. I understand that. How was it working with your husband on the song? Do you have any creative differences at all?
It's really easy. I mean, this is this is like the second time that we've worked together. Second or third time. But it's really easy. Our working relationship is very easy, actually. It just kind of flows into our... It's no time where we're like, okay, management hat on and now personal hat on. It's just all the same.
Just all flows.
Yeah, all flows.
Nice. Was it you that sang the chorus on Nazrul?
Yes, it was actually.
I read that, you know. I read it in the credits, and I wasn't sure if it was the same Ameriie. But
how many are running around?
Well, exactly, because I didn't know. There's none other that really have pushed through like you, but there may have been just a session singer called Ameriie back then.
Right.
You really didn't get the credit for that, huh? It wasn't.
Did I not?
I don't think so.
I think it says feature Ameriie.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that on the single. Maybe on a repress or something it did.
Yeah, I think it did. Maybe on
I got to double check.
Like,
I saw it in the small print. It was there. But anyway, we've got to push on. I want to do something with you called the fun bit, where we just learn the other side. Don't look so worried. It's all right.
I'm like, games, fun. All those are code words usually for scary stuff, but sometimes they're not scary.
It's not scary. It's all right. We just learn about Ameriie from another angle.
Okay.
Are you ready for the fun bit, Ameriie?
I don't know if I'm ready for the fun bit.
I think you're ready. Favorite TV show?
A few. Sopranos, Mad Men. Yeah, Sopranos, Mad Men. Scandal is really good. Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that would be on my list as well. Would you rather be haunted by ghosts or abducted by aliens?
Haunted by ghosts or abducted by aliens? The hauntings aren't really great. The abducted by aliens could be interesting, only if they're nice.
Well, yeah, we'll leave it there. And so I already know you speak Korean. That's your first language as well, right?
It was my first language. I did forget a lot of it, though, so I have to actually practice.
So would you rather be able to speak every language on the planet or play every instrument on the planet?
Speak every language on the planet.
Who would you most like to work with, dead or alive?
Maybe Michael Jackson. Marvin Gaye, though.
That could sound good.
Yeah. Michael Jackson or Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, that sounds nice, man. If you could time travel to any point in time, where would you go?
Ancient Egypt.
Why is that?
Ancient Egypt. Because I've always been fascinated. Like one of the things I thought I wanted to be when I was younger was an Egyptologist.
Okay.
And I was like, I'll just be happy, just digging in the sand.
Of course, you'd be able to read hieroglyphics because of your language skills. So
yeah.
That's it. Right. So the last one. I know you're a bit of a sci-fi fan.
I am.
It's quite important, this one.
Okay.
Would you rather speak like Yoda or breathe like Darth Vader?
Speak like Yoda. Actually, I do speak like Yoda sometimes. My husband will laugh at me because every now I'll be sitting down. I'll be like, "Yeah, this shows there are some definitely good things in this or like I don't know, there's some interesting things in this show, or wait,
Interesting things there are.
The interesting things there are. Yeah, there we go. I'm like, wait. So you're catching me like all jet lagged. I'm like all like half asleep. But yeah, like I do say some things not on purpose, but then he'll laugh at me because he'll be like, okay, Yoda.
Excellent. It's been an absolute pleasure. Best of luck with the album releases.
Thank
I'll say the
you.
plural. And
Yeah.
of course, enjoy the rest of your time in the UK.
Thank you.
It's DJ DUBL. I'm here with Ameriie.